the walking. I was just, meditating, musing on the nature of walking. I was thinking, 20 years ago when I was a young man, I thought I could walk, but I couldn't. Walking is a form of waking. And so if you're not waking, you're not walking. And so walking in cities, when I lived in Paris, Istanbul, Dakar, Naples, etc., you walk them silly. Let's say Warsaw, Cairo. But you were always distracted. You were stumbling, as it were, from one eatery, one drinkery to the other, one shop to the other. And so it was always mesmerism. It was always a form of stopping and not walking and waking. And it was only, several years later, mid to late 30s, when I got into Warsaw and outside of Warsaw, in fact into the forests, that you really started walking as a function of waking. And if anything, your society, because of its mesmerism, and capitalism's whole ethos is mesmerizing. This is what it does to the creature. It mesmerizes you and thus captivates you and captures you. And so, if anything, the whole ethos of capitalism is demotivation. And part of that demotivation, that taking yourself away from movement by motorizing you through a false technology that is not nature, is immobilization. And it got me thinking that to be immobilized is like a car. If a car's immobilized, it still looks like a car. You can't tell, until you try and switch it on, until you try and drive it, that it's actually immobilized, that it's not working. And that's the human under false and dangerous technology that usurps and hijacks his aboriginal, natural, self-powering, self-cleansing, self-renewing technology. The techne, logos, the creature in communion and communication with the cosmos. And so when that matrix is hijacked by a pernicious mechanical matrix, it immobilizes you. And this is the state of man today, the animal immobilized. It looks like an animal, it looks like a creature, in spite of its decorations, its baubles and glitter. But if you try and get in and start it, it won't start. And this is the waking function of walking. It's because man isn't awake, he's asleep. And it's the system that goes against nature that puts you asleep. Nature itself wakes you up. That's the whole function of nature, is this arising, emerging, this interdependent co-arising. And so this arising is a form of waking. But when you invert that system, you start getting put to sleep. And of course, in the euphemasia that we live in, the euphemistic, where all words are euphemized, the human, it's not a human, it's a demented and deluded animal. The car, it's not a car, it's a gas chamber, come on. So when you live in euphemasia, the walking is not walking, it's waddling, it's being prammed. And so the human being is asleep. And as Gurdjieff once said, you cannot awaken using the same system that put you to sleep in the first place. So get out of it and get into the forest, into the hills, into the away, into the outside, into the totally available. The only mirror is nature, and it's a mirror that reflects not the outside, but the inside.